As mayor, calls me door to a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Donna, you will call the roll?
Murder.
Here.
Riley.
Here.
Schneider.
Here.
Sofa.
Here.
Stoops.
Here.
Wilson. Stukas.
Here.
Non-agenda items from the sidelines. We are lucky enough to have our state representative, Jeff Yark, here with us tonight. Jeff, I'll give you the floor. As long as you need.
Thank you, Mayor. Honorable council members, it's Jeff Yark, State Representative. I actually represent the south half, Macomb County portion of Memphis. The north portion of Memphis actually represents Hornberg. Thank you for opening up your chambers. Let me have I'm on my listening tour. At least twice a month, I'm somewhere in my district meeting with people, listening to issues, so I appreciate that opportunity to come in. They probably see me around fall again as I keep moving around. Just a few things we kind of want to update people. The big conversation is roads and road funding. What I've been trying to share with people is that although the registration tax, the registration fees went up, and the fuel tax went up, and it was voted on in 2015, it actually didn't take effect until 2017. So one of the misunderstandings out there is people say, "Where's all the money? Where's all the money?" There was no extra money collected in 2016. That whole period, even though it passed in 2015. So that money didn't actually start collecting until 2017, and on a monthly basis, that money gets sent out to the various road agencies as it gets collected. So that's why you probably didn't see a really big road building season in 2017, because money was still coming in and being sent out. But that's continuing, and it's being moved out. Unfortunately, Macomb County, and I think St. Clair County maybe to a lesser extent, is a donor county. Macomb County has 8.7% of the population, and they receive 7% of the money. I mean, the county as a whole, adding up all the money that comes in, for example, in Macomb County. I'm trying to work on that. I'll say this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue of Southeast Michigan, all of us in Southeast Michigan, a view of roads and our needs, because we have so much more population in general and much more commercial truck traffic than the rest of the state. So as I said, I think sometimes people think this is a Republican-Democrat issue. It's not. Republicans and Democrats alike in outstate have the same perspective of Southeast Michigan, and the Republicans and Democrats in Southeast Michigan have the same perspective regarding our hard demand on roads. So we're trying to get everybody together, and I've reached out to our county executive and hoping that it will bring along the county executives of the other counties in Southeast Michigan and trying to fight together to address this issue. And the other piece we want to kind of share, so I am sensitive to that road funding issue. No fault, which is not necessarily a city issue, but a lot of people are bringing this up, so I'm just taking the opportunity to share that yes, the no fault went up. That was not an act of the legislature. The Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association is a private entity, so that the increase that you see was not an act of the legislature. It was an act of the association. There's a lot of talk about getting greater transparency of the association and how they figure out those fees. I'm supportive of that. If we actually get a vote on that, I'm voting for it. The other thing is I'm offering, I have an opt-out bill that allows you to opt out of the Catastrophic Claims Association. Right now, Michigan drivers have an unlimited medical benefit. If people, for example, had other insurance and they decide they wanted to opt out at $555,000 and get out of the MCCA, they could do that. So that's a lot. I wanted to share with you, because that's what a lot of the talk is right now about that. There's a lot of news about the increase in the MCCA fee. So I just want to take an opportunity to kind of share that the concerns of citizens are heard, and that I'm trying to work on it. Thank you.
One minute. Since you brought up the catastrophic claims, I've often wondered, will there ever be a number that they reach that they'll say, okay, we've got enough money? Because I've heard it's like 18 million, but I don't think anybody really knows what the number is, right?
Well, there's two issues. One, years ago, Governor Engler felt, this goes back a long ways, felt that there was too much money in the fund into the association, and there was a rebate given. Right now, we are paying back the rebate. So about $30 of your association fee is actually paying back the refund that you received in I don't remember the year, but during the England administration. And that's gonna go on for about 10 years. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact dates of when that actual refund was given. But that deficiency is, we have probably about 10 more years of paying back the deficiency with about $30 of that. So that piece. And the other portion, the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association doesn't share its assumptions. And what our assumptions is how you figure out how much money you need in the fund. It doesn't share what those numbers are based on, this is how insurance is done. You take how many people in the pool, the ages, the injuries. Well, we're not even sure what they are, but we'd expect it. And they would calculate out how much money they think they need. Since they won't share their assumptions right now, we don't actually know, are they correct or they're not correct. There's two bills in the House, one by Representative Lucido and one by Representative Green, both require, which would require transparency of that fund, so we could all look inside and say, do we agree or not agree? Right. And I was drafting a bill myself, but with two already on the floor, I felt it was probably covered, so I didn't decide to introduce mine.
So the 18 billion is just a guess on somebody's part as to how much is in there, right?
It is. Well, we know how much is in there.
Oh, we do?
We know how much is actually in there, but how they figure out how much they need, we don't know. I mean, there's a member of the Department of Insurance and Financial Services that's a member of that board, so there is a state agent that sits on the board who knows, but they will not release it. And I think it's pretty ridiculous, to be honest, but we need a legislative change to be able to make that happen.
Well, it's a strange thing because Michigan's the only state that has that. So there's that, I mean, I'm assuming we basically wrote all the rules and the guidelines and whatever they have over there, somebody came up with it here and there was no experience in the past to say this is how you should do it. They basically just came up with it.
Well, I mean, that's why they came up with the MCCA, because we are the only state that has unlimited. And insurance companies when that started, had great difficulty trying to figure out how much money they need to put away for unlimited. So that's what created the MCCA. But it's very frustrating because no one else can take a look inside. Right. And actually have a good debate about, is the number they have correct? If I can get my way on this, that's going to change.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for coming. City administration. Chief? Nothing. All right. You are on the agenda, so. Donna? Adoption of the agenda, was there anything to add?
Yeah, we need to add the sport track transmission under new business number 5.
Is that a motion?
Yes, that's a motion.
Support. Riley? Schneider?
Yes.
Sofa?
Yes.
Stoops?
Yeah.
Wilson?
Yes.
Zupas? Yes. Murder?
Yes. Hopefully you've all had a chance to look over the meeting minutes from March 20th. Was there any questions or comments? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of March 20, 2018 as presented. Support.
Schneider?
Yes.
Sofa?
Yes.
Stoops?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Zupas? Yes. Murder?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Presentation and approval of March disbursements report of $68,645.04 and electronic wire transfers of $10,354.31. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the disbursements and the wire transfer for said amounts.
Support.
Sofa?
Yes.
Stoops?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Zupas? Yes. Murder?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes. Can I get a motion to place the communications on file?
Support.
Stoops?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Zupas? Yes. Murder?
Yes.
Riley?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Sofa?
Yes.
We have Mr. Tom Cairns here from the Historical Society, and Basically, the Historical Society is requesting that the City of Memphis declare the building at 35032 Boardman Road to be a Memphis Historical Building. Larry's been looking into this a little bit.
Yeah, Tom, do you have anything you would like to say at this point on this, or?
Well, when I was here in November, and spoke to the council about this matter, after my presentation, Councilman Wilson raised a question as to whether the city had authority or really control to do this, to designate a building historical, and none of us knew the answer. And so the issue was tabled until the answer could be presented. And I brought the answer here tonight to tell you that I spoke with the Michigan Historical Commission, and I was sent to them by the Michigan Historical Society, who identified the commission as the body who makes the rules for designating historical property within their jurisdiction here in Michigan. And so I spoke with Mary Patrick there, and she said she was the right person to answer the question. And what she told me was that within the legal city boundary of Memphis, Memphis could designate property, historical property, if and when Memphis felt that the property justified that designation. And outside of the boundary in the surrounding community, outside of the legal boundary of Memphis, then the Michigan State Commission rulings would prevail. So I think, from what I understand from Ms. Patrick, that the city is within its legal right to identify properties historical if it feels that's justified.
Tom and I have had various discussions over the last week or two, and I've also had considerable conversation with our building inspector, Jeff. Had a conversation with him again today. And one of the criteria that we have to do, we have to adopt, well, we're going to adopt these later on this tonight, but this one book is reference to historical buildings and old buildings, and it's a Michigan Rehabilitation Code in existing buildings. So one of the criteria we have to do is adopt that first. The second thing, and I talked to Tom on this as well, is that as the Historical Society is a leasee of that building, I do not think they have the right or authority to do that. I think that's up to the owner. So I think the owner of the building is the one that would have to designate that. I think following that, I think there's only one other thing that we would now have to do, and that is to set up the criteria which would designate what is a historical building. In other words, this has to have this or this or this. I talked to Tom just earlier tonight too, and I think the Historical Society, from my understanding, is willing to take that on. And I think they would have to contact some of the people you've already talked to. And from what I understand, Romeo does that now, so maybe instead of inventing the wheel, you might check with them and use what they have in place already. So my recommendation would be that we do adopt this as one, well, we're going to adopt them all. Adopt that, then the Historical Society, then set up a committee or whatever, and if they need help from me or whatever, I'm willing to help on that. So that would be my recommendation, the next step in this process.
Yeah, I'm definitely for it. Jeff Kern didn't have any problem with it, so that's a big hurdle. And I think, like you said, we set up some criteria and adopt that, and then we move on to the next step and get the actual property owner to make a request, right?
So do we need a motion, or just go ahead and let them do that, or you want a motion?
No, because it's a communication.
Yeah. Okay, so then that's the direction I think we're recommending you do.
I do appreciate the time you spent on that, Tom. That's good.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, adopt personnel policy and salary personnel policy. Larry?
Yeah, yes. Well, we've been working on this for quite a while. And now it's all in place, and I think there was only, and we okayed this, I think about a month ago, and then we sent it to our lawyer. But there is only one change that I want to talk about, and it's in the memo I had, and that is on the life insurance. And it's all future non-affiliated administrative employees will have life insurance upon a date of hire. And that's incorporated into this, both the non-affiliated and the administrative. And, these both say non-affiliated, I think one's administrative, so we'll have to correct that. Okay, so with that in mind, I think they're really, you've already okayed it, so all I want to do tonight is just to approve both policies. So,
Is everybody okay with that? I know we've been kicking this thing around for,
Oh, yes.
yes. Okay, then I'll make a motion that we approve both the non-affiliated administrative policy as a policy.
Support.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Riley,
yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Stoops.
Yes.
Larry, thanks for your time on that.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot, Larry.
Okay, administrative memo number 7, budget amendments. So we have a couple of amendments here. I guess we just need a motion to adopt administrative memo number 7.
What is the cell phone bill for?
It's a reimbursement that we got from Cal, right?
Yes, he went over one time that much, and so he paid the city back.
So
Oh,
it's just a
okay.
reimbursement.
Oh,
right.
money back for a change.
Money back.
Well, and to make
I thought it
his
was
budget
taken out.
right, because it was all taken off his, we have to amend it.
Okay, all right.
I'll make a motion to approve administration memo number 7.
Support.
Lucas,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
The police committee regarding the chief's holiday pay. Scott?
We had a meeting on March 28th. Basically, the police chief was asking that we would be able to flip certain they're listed as holidays in the setup for officers, but if he wants to be able to take days off at different times to use up, like New Year's Eve day after Thanksgiving, instead of using up holiday pay on regular employees, if he can, to save some of his budget, he wants to be able to flip them around, and we didn't see there was any real major problem with it. So
It just saves us money.
it's a money saving chance if need be. Doesn't necessarily mean he will, but he has the option to.
And I'd just like to make a comment that on the policy that we just approved on the administrative article number 27, is that at their option, administrators may have an employment policy change with approval of council, so that gives us legal authority to do so.
Nothing more to be said about it, right?
No, the main thing is that on like Good Friday, that's one of my holidays. I'm supposed to be off, but I work the day shift. So if I'm off on a Good Friday, which isn't something I need to be off, then I have to pay an officer time and a half, because it's also their holiday to cover for me. So whether I'm here or I'm not here, I'm gonna get paid for it. So I'd rather just not pay the time and a half out of my budget for an officer to be.
Thank you, now that makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, when we
I
talked
got it
about
now,
it, it
yeah.
was just,
Anything that's in the budget, I'm for.
Yeah.
anything I can save in my budget, I'm for.
All right. We don't need any motions then or anything, right?
Yeah, I think you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
Make a motion to allow the chief to flip his holidays that he needs to help adjust his budget.
Support.
Martyr,
Yes.
Riley,
yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yep.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lucas.
Yes.
Okay, building department revised fees and costs.
Take that.
Larry, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is another project I think we've been working on for the last few months, and I think it's now finalized. And not gonna go into it too fully. I did make in my memo that if you wanted to look at it, that call me prior to the meeting. but it's, the memo really explains basic changes we made in that. And there's only, some of the revisions is in the, what we charge, and one we eliminated entirely. The other one is on the commercial for plan review, and we've made some changes in that. The bigger the project is, it goes up slightly because the building inspector would have to spend more time reviewing that. So if there's any questions on it, I'll try to answer them, but it's basically all changed. And some of the changes, I think we took the permit itself and made some changes in that. The office staff with the customer or the residents was having some problems that they wasn't explained fully. I think the way we've got it now, it will be definitely fully understanding what they're between the two. So hopefully there won't be any communication problem now. So hopefully it'll address all the problems they were having.
So do we need, I guess the question is the administrative fee, should we raise the permit fee or leave it where it is?
I think we'll leave it the way it is, what we got right now. I think we'll monitor it. I think it should cover it. But we certainly will monitor it, and if it does need changing, then we'll adjust it.
Okay.
Okay?
Where it says okay, that means there's no changes?
Pardon?
Where it says okay, that means
Yeah,
there's no changes?
there's no changes. Where it says okay.
I know this has also gone on for quite a while, so
Yeah.
thanks again, Larry.
I think we should make a motion then to adopt the changes. Okay. I'll make a motion then we approve the building permit fee and revised changes.
Support.
Riley,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lucas, Murder.
Yes.
So do we have to adopt each one of these code books individually? or-
No, I think I can adopt them, and I'm going to, I've already got it written down here, you don't have to, I'll give you this after. Yeah,
Fantastic.
so what we're doing here, the last time we adopted this, I believe, was in 2006. And this book is 2015, there's some different dates on them. But, and I understand from Jeff that they revised every 2 years, which means this year probably another one will come out. But, so I'll make a motion to adopt the following code books: the 2015 Michigan Building Code Book, the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, the 2012 International Green Construction Code, the 2012 International Rehabilitation Code for Existing Buildings.
Support?
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Murder,
Yes.
Riley.
Yes.
And just one more change I'd like to make in this, where it's in our permit. I'd like to have it, right after that, adopted 4318, so it shows up on there. Okay. that's-
Yeah, with the codes, what it is they write a code, and then it takes, generally the state, time to adopt the code. I know with the National Electrical Code, it's updated every 3 years, and it generally takes the state a year or two to actually adopt it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not sure they're working on it. I think they will. I think the other one, according to Jeff, will come out this year, so they're probably already working on it.
Right.
So once they do, we can adopt that one, but we need that. Okay.
I bet it doesn't get any smaller either, it'll be a little bigger.
Well, that's this one. This is the biggest one.
Oh, no, they're all gonna get bigger. If I have just a couple pages.
Okay.
Okay, number 5, the sport track transmission, chief. Started with a good ending, right?
Good ending, we saved money. Spend money, but we saved money. When I started, the prior chief told us that the 2010 Ford Explorer Sport Track was having some minor transmission issues. Since I started, we put a new battery in it. We're switching that truck out. It's going to be turned in. One of the new vehicles will replace that. I took it out to the equipment shop to get everything stripped off at the lights and sirens. As I was driving back, the transmission was really messed up after sitting for a month and a half. I took it right to Ford, hoping that with the low miles, they would hopefully honor some of the warranty work on it. Took it in, they found out it was the solenoid, not the transmission. They were able to replace it. It ran $496, which the whole time we were thinking it was gonna be a full transmission. So, what I'm requesting is that we pay that out of my equipment replacement fund instead of my vehicle budget, because at the end of the year right now, I wasn't expecting that $496. That would knock my budget down. Also, when we sell that Sport Track and the other Dodge Charger that we're replacing, that money is all gonna go back into the equipment replacement fund. So the money I'm spending on that Sport Track out of the equipment replacement will be paid back plus whatever extra we make off the 2 cars.
Anybody have a problem with that?
No, I've
Can I get a motion?
already discussed it with Dan.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Support.
Sofa,
Yes.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job on that. From the mayor, so, thank you, Jeff, for coming out and, spending a little time with us today. It's always good to have you come by. Good to see a decent crowd in here tonight, man. It's pretty cool. I think we're giving away free donuts or something.
They're opening it tomorrow.
We made it?
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have. Kurt?
Nothing for me other than thank Larry again for all the work that he's done. He's done a lot of legwork on the administrative duties and with the whole thing, working with our building inspector and making sure everything's updated and up to snuff. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
Larry, anything?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Again. So we've got another memo on there, and it's on the lagoons. And since it's, and we had a meeting, it was the mayor, myself, Bart, and from BMJ, there was Phil Porty and Mike Quinn. And we sort of want to be proactive in this because there is, when we get a big storm, there can be erosion along the river there. So we got a quote from BMJ, and I give you a copy of that tonight. And there was about 6 things they're going to do there. I won't necessarily go over them right now, but they're there. But anyways, cost for the service is estimated to be at $5,000 to do all of that. So it's my recommendation that we do proceed with that because we do not want to have a problem down there, and this might if we address that issue now, I think it'll be
And the money will come from,
water and sewer. We have approximately at the end of the last fiscal year, we had $324,000.
so we've got more than enough to cover this because it looks like it, for what they have to do there, it seems like it's a pretty good fee.
Yeah, and we all discussed it as we went down and physically looked at it, and I think it'd be money well spent, and I think it's something that has to be done eventually, and I think it'd be better to do it before maybe something does happen down the road.
And the person that we met with, this is basically what he does, this type of work. And it's not going to be as much as we thought it was going to be, which is great news. And it's definitely not going to be as much as it would be if we were to wait until something
Seriously.
tragic happened down there.
Yeah, and it, it might not happen this year, might not happen next year, but it will happen.
And this is
eventually.
permanent. This
Yeah.
is not a temporary fix or anything like that, so.
So is there any questions?
Great.
Make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the cost of $5,000 for BMJ Engineers to do the prep work on the banks.
Can we do that still?
Pardon?
It wasn't part of the agenda.
No,
We're after.
that's okay. We can do it. Yeah.
I'll support it.
Stoops,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Riley,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
Anything else, Larry?
No, that's it.
Ken?
No, sir.
Rowdy?
Nothing, thank you.
Scott? Jason?
Nothing. Motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Well, a lot faster than I was thinking in my head. I mean, well,